leadership. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating and preventing acts of domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone. That's twice as many as before.
Who took the places of
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
On Capitol Hill, FBI Director Patel faced fierce scrutiny over resignations and shifting priorities. The clash exposed a deeper battle over the FBI's role in America's security and justice.
Chairman, Director Patel, just like the rest of the federal government, there have been significant personnel changes at the FBI since President Trump took office. I want to better understand the scope of the turnover and the changes occurring at the FBI. Since January 2025, how many FBI employees have retired, resigned, been fired, or otherwise separated from employment? I need a number.
We'll get you a number.
What is the number? You don't have it?
Not off the top of my head, and I want to get you the right number.
Would it surprise you to know that it's probably in the thousands, like 5,000?
I don't think that number's accurate.
You don't know. Next question. How many special agents or analysts have left or been fired from the FBI since January 20th, 2025?
Say, we will get you the numbers, and anyone that retires is of their own volition, and anyone that is terminated at the FBI, as I've said before, is done so because they have failed to meet the standards and uphold their loyalty and oath to the Constitution.
Yeah, so you say. Next question. How many executive assistant directors, or special agents in charge have left or been fired from the FBI since January 20th, 2025?
Again, people leaving on their own accord or terminations were done by the standards set at the FBI that have been carried out consistently.
With this question, I'm getting to the leadership of the FBI, and you don't have that answer. Next question. Which field office, division, or directorate has lost the most personnel since January 2025? And do you have the answer to that question?
Yeah. Actually, every single field office in the country, including Hawaii, has received a plus-up of FBI agents because we're pushing them out to the field.
Okay, so you're telling me that no field office, division, or directorate has lost any personnel since January 20th, 2025. That's your answer?
In Hawaii, there's been a plus-up. In every single state that I'm looking at, we have allocated a plus-up for field offices across the country so that the FBI can continuing the historic achievements it's done in these last 7 months. When you're talking about firings, you're looking for a media hit and a fundraising clip, and I'm not going to give it to you.
It doesn't matter under what basis they left. I just want to know how many have left. And I think your testimony is nobody has left. Next question.
Nope, that's not my testimony. You asked it one time. I answered it one time. You didn't get the answer you wanted for your clip, so you keep asking it. And I told you I'd get you the numbers, but you can keep asking it.
Which field office, division, or directorate has gained the most personnel since January 2025? You noted that there have been plus-ups, so which offices have received these plus-ups?
The greatest allocation that I believe was given to California and then Florida.
Where were those offices?
California and Florida.
Thank you. Director Patel, you often refer to FBI agents as cops. All of us, Democrats and Republicans, support the police officers who keep our communities safe. But while our states, cities, counties, and towns all employ police officers to protect our communities, Congress has empowered and equipped the FBI to take on missions that local police cannot, especially taking on terrorists, hackers, and spies. I'd like to assess how well the FBI is able to handle its specialized missions under your leadership. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating and preventing acts of domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone. That's twice as many as before.
Who took the places of
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
So you can attack them. I'm not doing that. The
You're not
people
gonna
sitting
give
in
me
those
the
seats
names
are
of-
extremely qualified to handle the job.
You're
We
not
would
gonna
not
give
have
me
the
the
results.
names of personnel who
we would
should
not
be
have the
on your
reduction
website.
of
Fine,
violence in the
moving
state
on.
of Hawaii if we did not allocate the
Earlier
resources we
this
did.
year, FBI counterterrorist special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Reportedly, these counterterrorism experts were returned to the jobs they trained for in late January after Iran threatened to retaliate for our strikes on their nuclear facilities. Have those experts remained in the jobs they trained for since that time? Yes or no?
FBI agents' primary responsibility is exactly what they are assigned to do. We always work with our
So since they
interagency
returned
part.
to their positions,
If you're not
are
going to
they
let
still
me
in
answer,
those
why don't you
positions?
just do your soliloquy in the 4.5 minutes you have
I
left?
am not asking for a soliloquy. It's just a yes or no. Are those people who were returned to their jobs still on those jobs? Yes or
They
no?
never left.
What was that?
They never left their primary job. It is a surge of resources in law enforcement working with the interagency to combat violent crime and reduce
They were
violent
never-
crime in
okay, they were never
historic
reassigned to do
proportions.
That's your testimony. Okay, Director Patel, the FBI is also the lead federal agency for investigating cyber attacks and
Yes.
cyber intrusions, both by foreign nation states and by non-state hacker groups. Since President Trump's inauguration, the executive assistant director in charge of the criminal and cyber branch and the head of the FBI's cyber division have both left the FBI. What are the names of the people who replace them in those positions?
The cyber branch is one of the most impressive at the FBI. 409 arrests this year, 169 convictions. That's a 42% increase from the same time last year.
It's that
So
branch,
any
Mr.
suggestion
Patel.
that the FBI cyber division is not operating at full capacity and better than ever before, the leadership at the branch is implementing these changes necessary to attack the cyber and ransomware infrastructure operators
You know
for
why
Iran, China,
they're
and Russia.
important? I want to know who has those positions, since the people who originally were there.
Supremely
Are no longer
qualified
there.
individuals have those positions.
Are they?
Supremely qualified
Who
individuals.
are they? What are the names?
You're not getting
You don't
them.
know. Special agents who investigate cybercrime were also reassigned for immigration enforcement. Have those expert investigators returned to their duties? Yes or no?
All agents remained on their primary duties while surging to allocate resources for interagency operations to the Homeland Security task forces across this country.
So are you?
Am I what?
See, I'm not getting the yes or no answers. I get all this explanation. So there you go.
No, you get the work that
Are
the men
you
and women of the
planning
FBI are doing. And you don't want that.
Additional personnel cuts to the cyber division in the future?
The only people that will be terminated at the FBI will be those that violate their oath of office or fail to meet the high standards at the FBI.
On Capitol Hill, tensions flared once again during a high-stakes hearing with FBI Director Patel. Lawmakers pressed him over staffing changes, mission priorities, and the direction of the Bureau under his leadership. What unfolded was not just a clash over numbers and personnel, but a deeper debate about the role and future of the FBI in today's America. At the heart of the questioning were concerns about mass departures from the FBI since January 20th, 2025, the day President Trump returned to the White House. Lawmakers demanded hard figures. How many employees had retired, resigned, or been fired? Director Patel repeatedly pushed back, saying he'd provide numbers later and dismissing suggestions that thousands had left. Instead, he emphasized that FBI field offices nationwide have actually received additional agents, particularly in California, Florida, and even Hawaii. But critics say the lack of direct answers only fuels suspicion that the Bureau is facing a brain drain of seasoned experts. What makes this issue so critical is that the FBI's core mission goes far beyond basic policing. is the nation's lead federal agency for counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and cybercrime. And yet, in this hearing, lawmakers accused the Bureau of diverting specialized agents away from those missions to perform duties more aligned with local police or even immigration enforcement. Patel rejected those claims, insisting that agents never abandoned their primary jobs and that resources were only surged temporarily to support joint operations. Still, senators voiced unease about the departures of top leaders in the FBI's national security and cyber branches, and Patel's refusal to name their replacements. His defense: the current leadership is highly qualified, pointing to record arrests in cybercrime and violent crime cases. But the senators' frustration was clear. They wanted transparency, not just statistics. The hearing also took a striking turn when one senator pressed Patel on new physical fitness standards at Quantico, including mandatory pull-ups for recruits. Critics argued this could disproportionately disadvantage women applicants. Patel fired back, saying that FBI agents carry weapons, chase dangerous criminals, and must meet the physical standards of federal law enforcement. In his words, if you want to put handcuffs on a suspect, you need to be able to do at least one pull-up. That exchange then prompted another senator to pivot into the culture war debate over gender and sports, seizing the moment to argue for protecting women's athletics. What this hearing revealed is a widening divide. On one side, lawmakers warned the FBI is being politicized, losing expertise, and straying from its unique national security role. On the other side, Director Patel insists the Bureau is stronger than ever, with historic crime reductions and surging resources in the field. The truth may lie somewhere in between, but one thing is certain: the FBI remains at the center of America's most pressing debates about security, justice, and politics. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage and analysis of the stories shaping our world.